Here's to being in your 20s and not knowing what you're doing or where you're going, where we know everything and nothing at the same time, where we aren't fully grown, but we are no longer kids. Today, we take time to acknowledge the 20-somethings.
Oh, man.
Welcome back to the 20-somethings podcast. I'm your host, Corrupts, and we got Moe Heezy.
AKA New Rev, AKA Butterfly Effects.
Thanks for coming, man, again.
Hey, man, it's a pleasure. I'm so, God is so good. So happy to just,
You happy to be here?
I'm always happy to be around you.
That's so dope. We went out last night, and let me just say, me and you are 5 years apart, 6 years, 6 years apart.
It's kind of like a good 5.
It's like a healthy,
like a 5.5.
Probably. A 5.5, but
which is actually really dope. The older we get, the better that gap seems more of a gap.
Yeah, because it's like now we're able to go out and have a good time and, just really be adults.
Yeah.
Like, we're really in that era. But yeah, we had a great time going out. How was your week, man?
Man, I feel like now when I get asked these questions, it's hard to answer because I don't want to lie and I also don't have you know what I mean? Like,
no, that's so true.
Yeah, man. Then it's like, you be feeling like you got something deep to say, and then you just don't feel like getting into it with everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Like, but no, we want to get into it.
The week, I feel like now where I'm at in life, my weeks, I got a work week and then I got my week.
Okay.
My week is fine.
But the work week.
If we add the work week into it, it's just like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like it's getting better. It definitely is. It's growing. It's progressing. It's just, which is going to be a great theme for today, I think. But it's just, at the end of the day, you just feel like you just don't want to be somewhere for a long time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like, I've been dealing with that lately. Mentally, it's just like, I know what I want to do in life. This is great though, where I'm at, like, the things I'm learning is awesome. And, it's a blessing. It really is. And it's one of the best things I've ever did work-wise. But you just know, that
things are bigger.
Yeah, there's bigger things, and you got bigger goals for yourself. You know what I mean? Like, it may not seem big to someone else, and that's not the point.
Right. It's your vision.
It's my vision.
Yeah,
and it's a vision that I've gotten countless times, from God, and like
sometimes it just be dead on your heart.
Yes,
you can't deny it,
and that's what. And yes, and so when you ask how's your week, it's like, man, there's so much on my mind and my heart. And it's like, you know what I mean? So
I feel that, especially in corporate America where I work, it's like, it's so many things I feel like I could be doing from that 9 to 5 period that I'm not doing because I'm working. Like,
right.
And that right there is just, it be giving me motivation to just go harder. At what I want to do, because I'm just like, I cannot do this for 20 plus years. I don't give a about a pension. You can shove that 10 years right up your Sally.
Right, for real.
I can't do it.
No, for real. I'm 100% on. Like, if we could do this podcast full time and I could make
just music, bust episodes out,
like, bro, and then I could go and just make music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then be like, oh, A3G's getting booked this weekend, and I just sold some beats, like, and then we got the podcast doing numbers,
right.
Like, that would be great. And it's funny how your dream, like your vision coming true, has now given me, like, I'm just a supportive role in this, but like for some reason it's like it became my passion. You know what I'm saying?
I was gonna just say, like, I feel like we inspire each other.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like hearing, like, just because you're so talented musically, like, that's just so inspiring. And then it's like, just being in that creative type of mind frame and element, man, we have to express our creativity in one way or another. Like, yes, we go to work, we go to school, we do whatever, but you know, health, like, I even think we should be exercising, like doing something active. We should be doing something creative. We should be doing something for our mental. It's categories that we should be filling just to be better all around. So I really do believe that.
I agree.
Yo, can we like address the elephant in the room?
Oh man.
I mean, without going too further, I feel my week, just to touch on my week, I feel like it's been a trying week, to say the least. But what I've learned is that you can't wait until people support you. I feel like if you have a vision and you believe in your vision, you have to keep going. Like, and when I started this podcast, I was fully prepared to like keep my head down, like just keep putting out. And I think that with the vision and with the goals and things that I want to do, I'm getting like hit by all these lessons. And when I take the emotion out of it, I don't want to call them L's, I don't want to call them L's because I want to understand the lessons that God is placing in front of me. I want to fully understand it just in a spiritual aspect. As many of you know, a guest came on last episode, and this is how crazy God works, right? So a guest came on last episode. We probably chopped it up for an hour. In my mind, this was the best episode I've recorded. This was, when it came to quality, when it came to content, the conversations, I felt like this was the best one, right? And that's the same one that the person didn't want me to put out. So I'm like, God, like, if I'm thinking this is my one of my best works so far, right? Just when it comes to just doing things behind the scenes, because I'm trying to research and trying to get just better quality videos. So I was like, like, why is this the one I think is the one? No one else will know no one else will know. So I think that was just ironic, like in itself.
Yeah, it's a bit discouraging. Yeah. But like, touching on it, talking with that person, who was a close, like member to our family, there's another light that has been shown that I'm appreciative for, and like it, and like when I say, like, yesterday we had a conversation like for 30 minutes on it, where everything just kind of came out, and it was all love, and it was all like, there was accountability, there was expression, there was truth, there was sincerity, there was everything that you need in a healthy conversation.
Yeah.
And it's just unfortunate. And the other party understands that. And it's just like, okay, well, hey, let's do better. Let's move past it. We're gonna keep pushing. We're gonna do what we gotta do. It's one of those things where, like, they told me straight up, man, like they willing to rectify it in any way possible. You know what I'm saying? Like what they did, the ramifications of their actions hurted them, and it's like, oh, so I want to make sure that at the end of the day, like, I could clean up at least to best of my ability without what I screwed up. And I mean, I can't be mad at that. I mean, well, I really wouldn't. Because it's like, it's still someone is acknowledging their fault in that, and and even verbatim, like, causing the inconsistency, causing the gap, the emotional flux, all the things that happen. they took it on the chin, and I respect that. And but it's like, and I think like in their mind, they're like, it's like, okay, how did I, I did this, and then how do I like maintain what I have a relationship with my, people's here. You know what I mean? How do I rectify that and the best way possible? And I'm just like, so for me, it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, you gotta kind of find where
the middle ground.
The middle ground. You know what I mean?
Because I don't think people wake up like, oh, I'm here to disappoint Aniya.
And that was literally said. Yeah. Like that was literally
it's said. Like I can't not. I'm gonna base your character off your actions, and that's really all I can do. But I also feel like, with this situation, because this is just a perfect example, and honestly, this is a big reason why I even made this podcast, is because every day, especially young 20-year-olds, we are fighting a spiritual warfare, and I'm so aware of it. And I know when my flesh is talking, and I know when God is talking. Mm-hmm. So, I'm just be completely transparent. But, when the person told me that they didn't want the podcast out, I'm going to be honest, my flesh went to effect. And I was like, that, like
Bro laughed when I told him too. He was like, I felt like, he's like, I know, sis. He's like, I would, and she would have did it. I would have been like, it is what he's like, but I was just happy she did.
My flesh, yeah. So I'm like, man, that. Like, I'm about to, and then like my spirit, I'm like, I want to receive the blessings that God's going to give me. And I feel like in order to do that, I have to have some type of integrity when it comes to this. I have to kind of have a middle ground, because let me be honest, every guest isn't going to show up that I invite. And then every guest that actually comes is not always going to, I guess, want the video out. So, yeah, man. I mean, lessons.
I'm just glad that you get to learn it early as possible.
Exactly.
Because like I'm sure, like if we really did a real like comparative analysis to other podcasts in their grassroots stages, like all the stuff they faced.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and just like, where they came
and
from.
You feel me? It's like, you know what I mean? I'm sure the stories would be crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, very exciting, very interesting. But
and
just
that's like, the things I want to hear. I want to hear the grind.
The grind, man, the grittiness. You know,
starting from the living room. Like, I just want to hear it all, because I know with consistency, it's like, how can you fail? With God and consistency, it's like, I can't see me failing. I don't even really think about it.
Yeah,
I just keep, kind of keep doing it. And I was watching a Money Long. I hope that's how you say her name. Mooney Long.
Yeah, I think it's Mooney. Oh, very talented.
So super talented, Money Long, and she started out as a writer. She was writing people's music, getting shitted on in the process, and she says it and she expresses that, and she's like, yo, she felt like she never really got the gratification for the art she was putting out. I mean, she was writing hits, and she took L's early on. And now to see her in her artist bag, and to see the fruits of her labor actually coming out, it's like, I love the grind story. Like, I love the come up.
The underdog story is one that can't be minimized. It can only be embraced. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I love a good underdog story would really sell the way. You know what I mean? It will pave the way for a lot of people. But shout out to Mooney Long.
Money Long.
Yeah, man.
I just, with anything I do, I really do want to be in the will of God, and I don't want, I just don't want to get caught up in the bullshit. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't want to get wrapped up and lose who I am, lose myself. And, with that situation, not to talk too much about it, but it's easy for a person to say not to take it personal when this is your craft, and this is, something you're trying to do, like, it's easy for somebody to say, don't take it personal. But, in hindsight, it's like, you have to take it on the chin. Listen, I could be years down the line, just on an interview platform, I don't know, preferably the Breakfast Club. And just literally telling my story, and it's like, yo, how do you get so grounded? How do you keep? Yeah, I went through these L's early on. I went through these L's early on. By the time this airs, on a lighter note, I'll have been to the Jagged Edge concert, and I'm super excited to go. One thing about 20-year-olds and people born in the 2000s is we love some 90s shit. We love some 90s, like, music, the art, the movies. Like, we love that. So I'm excited. I said I have to see Jagged Edge before they die or I die. So this was on the money.
That's tough.
A lot of people are gonna hate me for what I'm about to say. I'm seeing a lot of women, a lot of young women announcing that they're pregnant, and I mean, that's beautiful. I think birthing a life is a beautiful thing. But what do you feel about, people necessarily following the Christian way, and because I'm gonna be honest, I think there is a reason. There's probably multiple reasons why God wants us to be unified and then to have kids. Mm-hmm. I think that is
the order. Absolutely.
But what do you think the disconnect is, especially with our generation? Like, why are they skipping that step?
Because nobody wants to wait, especially when you're a human, women, really. And this is just a fact. I don't know how I would ever receive slack for saying this, but most women who are able, and I'm saying this the way I'm saying it for a reason, if you are able to bear children, then you have a biological clock. You have a time frame where your body can produce a baby and a healthy baby. And so if things aren't working out in one aspect of your life via relationship, then at least you got a kid out of it. And it's like, for them, they don't, and so I personally don't think that they're looking at it from a biblical standpoint.
I don't think so either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think, and I mean, I understand that.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're also thinking about it's at the end of the day, it's a selfish thing. It's like, okay, you know what? It may not have started out selfish, but it becomes that way because it's like, okay, me and this dude, I thought we had something going on and we was gonna, blah, 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 like this was supposed to be, you know what I mean? And then like, in many situations, it may be when like she got fed up with him, you know what I mean? Or they was at the tail end of the relationship and she found out she pregnant and she like, oh, well, you know what? I'm going to just keep it. You know what I mean? Reasons for keeping it? Plethora. You know what I'm saying? Facts. But it's like, let's say there's a more positive reason. It's not some out of spite thing.
Yeah.
Then the more positive reason would be like, oh, I do want a kid. And he knew that, but we're not working out. So I'm going to just have my baby.
Right. And just raise my kid.
I'm going to raise my kid. We just going to co-parent.
Yeah.
And, I get that. I really do. And I understand that type of situation. That's very realistic.
It's very realistic.
You know what I mean? But I don't think people are really taking in the time to, I mean, look, that trying to, in a world that is not pushing the Bible,
yes,
it's hard to be biblical. Yes. It's hard to talk biblical to people.
Yes.
Because they just, for one, they're probably already down a certain path.
Yes.
And then for two, it's kind of like, You telling me I gotta, have this certain order that God wanted, and it's like, well, I may not want that. And it's just like, well, I understand that. And guess what? I don't want some of those things.
Right.
But
Because it's hard.
It's hard. I
feel like Christians, and it's like a negative connotation or just like a cliche, like we just live strictly for God and we're just on this most righteous path and we don't mess up and we don't make mistakes.
And we're boring.
But my thing is, I think what makes one Christian and what makes you I guess dedicated to having that relationship with God is we have the discernment. We have the ability to know what is not from God, what we should be doing. Like even if you are not doing what you're supposed to be doing, you know it. you can identify with it. I try to talk to my guy friends, and I love all my guy friends, but I'll be like, we're not supposed to be having sex. We're not supposed to be fornicating. I'm like, and then their response will be, how can you buy a car without test driving it? They'll say something like that.
Yeah. Which, they're like, yo, I'm one of them people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
because we're human.
I'm human. And I would like to test drive before I go all in because that just makes sense. And I'm pretty sure, and the spirit, you know what I mean, on the grand scheme of spirituality, right? Dealing with God, I'm sure he understands that. You know what I mean? And in the most unblasphemous way. But that's not what he said to do. That's not his will. His will is for you to know somebody, you know what I'm saying, without, and without getting into too deep with stuff.
Yeah.
Get to know that person, and then you get to enjoy that as a reward. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I feel that. I do feel that. But it's hard when you're not a virgin.
Yeah.
To try to go down that path.
Yeah, especially
for
men. Men are so tempted.
Yes.
Men have this, they have this just sex drive instilled in them where, they're not waiting until marriage. But you know what I said? Like, I tell my friends, like, imagine a man that's like, I really like you. I really want to get to know you. I really could see myself being with you, but I'm saving myself until marriage. And a lot of my girlfriends said they're not fucking with that nigga.
Facts, though. No, I get it. You talking to a 20-year-old young, not even 20, you're telling that to a young woman who is on her grind. You know what I mean? And she want to live her life.
Yeah.
And you telling her that? Do you understand how much time you're robbing her if she should like?
Because you don't want to have sex.
Yeah, like she's like, what the? You know what I mean? What the?
But how exactly are you robbing?
It just slows everything down. It's like throwing a wrench in someone's engine. But it don't gotta be looked at like that if she understands that. And a Christian understands it. Now, are you willing to do that is a whole different story.
Right.
But to understand it is definitely like the first step. You know what I mean? I get that. I understand that. I feel that.
If anything, I feel like I would just want him more. I'd be like, you wait until marriage?
You'd be like that. I mean,
like you want to be a man of God? Like, I'm with that. But yes, said no man ever. I don't think any man's gonna just say those words. I mean, it would surely shock the heck out of me. Like, I would be like, But we're not doing that. But you know what? It's like, I really wish this generation just knew that they needed God. I feel like when you are, say you're dating someone, and you're dating them for years or whatever the case is. And, I feel like that time is time to travel. It's time to, gain a relationship closer to God. I feel like it's time to just try new things. I don't feel like it's like, okay, baby, and then we'll figure all that out. A lot of times I feel like people, you were together for 18 years, we were together for 20 years, but in them 18, 20 years, did y'all ever go to church? Did y'all ever do Bible study? Like, have y'all ever prayed together? It's like, we can't think that things are going to last solely based on longevity. I know friendships that haven't last based on longevity because I'm not being fed or I'm not being, it's like, I can't just assume that because we've been together for so long that we don't need God, you know?
Yeah, no, facts.
Especially if y'all just out here lollygagging. Listen, there was a tweet on Twitter, and it was like, a tweet on Twitter. A tweet on X.
That's a nice...
A tweet on Twitter. I'm not saying X. I don't want to give Mr. Musk that power. I'm not going to change something that I've been saying for decades.
Yeah, like...
But there was basically a tweet on Twitter, and it was like, do we now see why God wants us to wait to fornicate? And do we now see... And a lot of people were quoting like, no, I don't see it. But those were the same people. But those are the same people that freaking have 2 kids and no baby daddy. You know, the baby father's not around. Now, how can you not see why you should have waited? I don't understand. How can you not see why you should have waited? You know what kills me is you don't get the young girls who are, and again, this may sound grandma, it may sound judgmental. I'm not being judgmental. I'm just telling you my observations. Mm-hmm. I see young women, they tweet or they'll post an Instagram or whatever the case is, and they're like, God knew I needed you.
Man. When I say I love seeing those, that is the most sarcastic thing. I feel you. Keep going, yeah.
God didn't want you at that gender reveal alone. Why are you saying that? God does not believe in premarital sex. Why do you feel like God needed to give you a baby when you weren't ready? But this is my thing. We will spin things to benefit us, especially biblically.
That's because we know we ain't right. I think deep down you know you wrong, but you gotta delude yourself. And so you tell yourself these things, you feed yourself these things, you encircle yourself around things that comfort you in a way that promotes what you're doing to make you forget or to delude you that you're doing wrong. You know what I mean? Or that you're doing right, rather. And I believe that, man, which guess what that really boils down to? Pride. You don't have enough humility in you to be like, no, God did not want me to have this baby now, but he did bless me with a womb to bear.
Yeah.
So thank you, God, for me at least knowing that I can bear a child. But Father, Lord, I stepped out of bounds by having my child this way. What, like, and so think about how that sounds versus what you just
God
said.
needed
you know what I mean?
What to gain maturity or to gain like a financial step forward? Like, I don't know how that was the lesson. Like how that was your lesson to basically become better. Like there's so many other things that could have showed you how to become better than a kid, you know? And here's the thing. People will say marriage is such a commitment. It's, you know, it's when we're not ready for marriage, but you're ready to raise a kid 18 years plus. Like that's a lifetime commitment, but you can't get unified in the grace of God. I'm confused. I needed to make a little bit more sense.
That's why I really, and I'm only can speak on what I know as a Black person.
Yeah.
As a Black man, like, that's why I really feel like 2 books that will help a lot of relationships out if they be read in its context and be read honestly is the books I was talking about, The Black Man's Guide to the Black Woman, and then The Black Woman's Guide to the Black Man. It came out in the 80s.
Yeah. So what are the books called?
The Black Man's Guide to the Black Woman, and then The Black Woman's Guide to the Black Man.
And this was created in the 80s. These books were written in the 80s.
Written in like late 80s. I think part 2 came out like probably 90, 91. But a Muslim lady wrote it, which really doesn't mean anything. It was just interesting because I don't think she took her. I'm actually just started reading, but what I did was I watched the documentaries and interviews she did on them. So I just started audiobooking the first one. And, I mean, when you really start to unravel it, it's like I said, she didn't put like religion into it.
Yeah.
But what she did was put Black history into it. And she put a lot of like then and the now comparison, and she highlights the reason why black men and black women, the regression. Like, why you see what you see in black households. Why you... As far as what? Like, one of the things you just described about, like, oh, you don't feel like, you're ready for marriage, but you feel like you can raise a kid, right? Yeah. Like, that's because of if we go back, that is really because black women were programmed to feel like they can raise a child without a black man in the household. And that goes back to slavery. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you pretty much, you let that process take place so that you can see it cultivate 300 years down the line. And then that's what she, was noticing. Yeah. And she wrote about a lot of factors. She wrote about too how black men, how we play a part in a lot of stuff we see today because we weren't the protectors of our black women during those times of slavery. We were allowing ourselves to become very submissive to white colonization. Yeah. I mean, it was whooping our ass, though. I mean, how protective can you be? I think it was more so of the mentality. It's like, oh, let me give him my right. Yeah, yes, yeah, or let me, let me not put up a fight. You know what I mean? Yeah. And there were slaves that put up fights. That's not the point she's making. It's just that it wasn't enough for it to reverse what was already taken into effect. And you see it. Yeah. You see it. And it's just sad. It's just really a sad thing, you know what I mean? But you made a point of saying how Black women believe that they can raise their child on their own. Yes. But I mean, I feel like a lot of single mothers don't want to be single mothers. No, that's not the point. You wanting it and you actually doing it is two different. You don't want that. There are some women I do feel like that in this day. They actually want that. Yeah. But you may not want that, but you have been trained to be both roles. And that's the you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's the dichotomy of that. You know what I mean? So and then to talk to the products of that, to talk to some men who they've seen their mom just play every role, and it definitely affects their relationships. I feel like Black men, especially Black men, they need their fathers, and they don't need just they need a positive male figure, because you can be a father in a household but not actually be leading your household and actually doing the things, having the qualities of a father. So I feel like and we see it. I see it so much even with dating. I'm like, okay, a man who kind of love bombs, I be feeling like they are the men who needed fathers. They kind of needed guidance, because now you're leaning on a woman's love and you're trying to just shower her, and kind of it's just to see the products of absence is pretty. It's like, you can't tell me your childhood doesn't affect who you are. No, you can't convince me that doesn't affect who you are. Yeah, it's deep. I can't wait to finish those books. Yeah, facts. I wanted to actually get you both copies, but then there was another, and I'm like, man, look. I mean, Black History Month is over, but Black History is never over. No. And if I gotta, I just feel like we need to be more aware of the kind of upbringing we have, the history we have, because that will also allow us to be the better versions of ourselves. Yeah. And I tell people, look, being pro-Black is great. It's not above being pro-God. But here's why being pro-Black is definitely great. And I have my own, I don't know if I reserve them. I think at this point I probably will, because I don't really see the need to just kind of go that deep right now. But biblically speaking, black people are the original. We are the original man. You know what I mean?
Like we were the first.
We are the first. We are black and brown. How one you want?
So
black
do you
is
think
just
Adam was black?
Adam is definitely a black or / brown man. Black as in the title.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But his color was brown. His color was, you know what I mean? Probably a bronze.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. Absolutely.
This is interesting because when we went out yesterday, we were talking a little bit about Adam and Eve, and one of the guys that we were with, he was like basically saying how the stories in the Bible, a woman is a man's downfall.
Nah, he wasn't fronting though. It's true. It's like it's.
I think a woman that's not for you.
What I think he was saying was, and I hate to cut you off. My bad. Go ahead.
No.
Yeah. Well, what I think he was really not hitting, he was missing the mark with it was this. It's not that women are our downfall. It's that men, our weakness can be women. You know what I'm saying?
And
because that is something that we cherish. We put a lot of emphasis on women, and so it's something you cherish. I cherish women. I freaking love women. Then am I gonna let a woman be my downfall? Have I let a woman be my downfall? Have I done? I'll say this: I don't think I've ever let a woman be my downfall, especially intentionally. But I definitely have done stupid stuff because of a girl. Yeah. Like whether it was me not being myself, so I chose to do something dumb, or I'm trying to make her laugh, so I say something or do something dumb. Yeah. It's like wow, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Like you're crashing out because you are trying to impress this girl when all you got to do is be yourself. You know what I mean? Whether she like you or not. You know what I mean? It's like be yourself. So yeah, that's what he was missing. I'm not. I think it's really extreme and unnecessary to call, especially black women, my downfall. Yeah, absolutely not.
Because we just we what can't we do?
Man,
I mean, honestly, there's a lot we probably can't do. But
as women,
but when I say that, I'm like, we bear children. You know.
Yeah, pregnancy is crazy. Giving birth is crazy. That's like simultaneous and shout out to a good friend of ours, Samal. She actually said what I had researched a few years ago. But when she said, I was like, oh, she's intelligent like me. That whatchamacallit, giving birth is simultaneous to breaking 20 bones in the body. Simultaneously, though. Yeah. Like, that's crazy.
And y'all be having the nerve to still cheat.
I don't think the two are mutually. Those are mutually exclusive.
Men are terrible.
Oh gosh, no!
I'm just kidding. That's funny. No, but that's actually. It's like, and then he was saying when we went out yesterday how, because obviously we know the woman was created from the rib of a man. So yes. So, but he made an interesting point that stuck out to me, and he was like, basically, we have to stop looking at women as our partners. Look at them as our helpmate, because that's what technically we were created for. Adam already had everything. He had everything he needed, and I guess the guy yesterday was basically just trying to say that we are here to help. We're not here to be a man's equal. What do you think about that?
No, we're not equal.
We're not equal.
But I mean, I wouldn't. First of all, I'm not gonna go on because this is publicized. So until I look up the actual definitions of helper and partner, yeah, I'm pretty sure those are the same. And if they are not the same, if helper winds up sounding like a stronger or better word than partner, well then great. Yeah. But if it's vice versa, then it is what it is. Partner it is. But bottom line is that like you are here to accompany us, and God felt the need for you. Yeah. And so if God felt a need for your existence to be here with man, okay, well then guess what? As a fleshly created being, from God, I'm going to look at you with value.
Yeah.
We have roles. I think there's a hierarchy, not a societal hierarchy, because society will make a woman feel like crap. Nowadays, kind of not, but excuse me, we know that society flip flops.
Yeah.
So right now, it's a good climate, but no, it's really not in the same sense. But biblically speaking, no, the Bible will give you the hierarchy and make you both feel very inclusive and very loved. And it's biblical hierarchy that we need to focus on.
Man needs women, and women needs men.
We need each other. We need each other, man.
We can try to act all prideful, you know.
I need me a wife.
I want you to.
I know I need a wife. Shoot, I know I need a wife. God working on me with a lot, but a lot of that will be solved with a wife.
Yeah.
At least that's my opinion. But that's because I know how simple I am, and I know what I want and desire. Like it's like, yo.
It's like he would need to. I think Mo would need to find like his perfect match. Like it would just have to go so well, and it would have to just fit, because like he said, he is so simple, so he doesn't need something super complex. I
really don't.
And I really, it's like I talked to him about this, even though I don't think he necessarily wants kids, but I just can't wait.
Well, that's why actually, since this is kind of part 2 from the first episode, we can talk about more of the, like the love stuff.
Yeah, because I don't think we touched on it.
We did, but we got distracted.
As we do.
Because like I said something and you piggyback and then it just domino effect. But I do not desire children. I love children. I literally just offered, to my pastor, like, yo, next date night you and your wife have, like, bring the kids over. And they know I love them. The kids even know it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I love kids. I love them. And I'm great with them, but that's because of years of training at a young age. However, I don't desire to have them because personally, I'm selfish. I'm selfish. I want to do things on my own time. And you know what I mean? And I enjoy my naps. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it is, man. I didn't even get a nap in the day yet.
You did take
but I took a sacrifice, not for family, for my grandmother and this podcast. Sometimes it's bigger than you, and that's a fact. It's always, a lot of the times, it's bigger than you. It's bigger than your wants and your needs, and that's a fact. And I'm willing to accept that, and I'm willing to, like, step into that. However, I'm not about to, like, intentionally take that away, like, because of something I don't need. You know what I mean? Right. It's like, yo, it's different. Like, yo, bro, I got this podcast idea, like, that I want to do, and I'm gonna need some help. Like, sounds like I gotta help my baby sis out, man. Like, she has a freaking great idea. Sounds like I need to, like, make some time for her.
Yeah.
That's different, though, than being like, hey, babe, I was thinking, let's have a kid. And it's like, bro, what? Like, like, no, let's not have a kid. And, like, I don't know. I haven't been in love in umpteen years, man. You know what I'm saying? I've not been in a real relationship since high school. You know what I'm saying? And truth be told, I personally have not found anybody that has given me that type of romance and love since that high school relationship. So that's another thing. It's like I haven't even met the right one in my upper years to be like, oh dang, maybe I'll change once I'm in love. Possibly. Like, oh baby, let's have a kid. I love you so much. But it's like, yo, at the same time, it's like, I be too conscious, man.
Yeah, like, that's what it is. Like, and I feel like the people that be having kids, like, they take risks. Like, they down for it. Risk, like, those were the ones who were like, yo, let's jump in the river. Like, those were those type. Like, they just didn't give a...
dipping.
They didn't care nothing about the consequences. And, yo, I was just watching a 3-year-old from my coworker the other day, and, oh my gosh, like, cutest little girl, sweetest, like the nicest. I love kids. I don't mind watching kids, but I was looking at her, and she was playing, and I'm like, this is a sacrifice. Like, this is a sacrifice. Like, it's a Friday night. I'm just like thinking, like, damn.
Yup.
What could I be doing right now? But yeah, man. I want to say to each his own, but I think, just to be honest, I want our generation to just gain that consciousness. I want them to gain a relationship with God so they can just start seeing things outside of the worldly desires.
And the moment.
And the moment. Because this moment ain't gonna last forever, baby.
Yeah,
you ain't gonna be here. It's like, think longevity.
I would rather tattoo every part of my body before I had a kid.
Oh my gosh, how extreme.
Super extreme, but very much one of those things where it's like I would get 3 face tattoos before I have a kid. At this point,
it's like that bad.
I do not.
It's that extreme. I don't want to say it's that bad because granted, kids are a blessing.
No,
we are not saying kids are not a blessing.
They are, but it's just like, nah, bro. Like, I'm not. Do you understand the progress? Like, it's never a break. And then, like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're a good parent, you're going to be parenting forever. Like, that is crazy to me. It's not this ain't no, you get the video game and you beat it and that's it.
Yeah.
You just play it when you want. This ain't side missions on Grand Theft. You know what I mean? No, this is a lifelong commitment. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's such I'm like, oh, like I see, you know, people that have kids, especially young, I'm like, oh, you're badass. Like, I know there's not much you won't do. Yeah, you're going for it.
A 23-year-old with 2 kids and has her own car and a good job and her own place. And they're like, whoa, like, wow, that's awesome. But guess what? She has 2 kids. She pretty much has to do that. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's not to minimize your grind.
Yeah.
It's just like, you gotta be 10 times more focused. And sometimes I think to myself, I was like, I wish I had whatever that switch is that people.
Yeah, because you do. You
know
feel
what I
that
mean?
switch, like, yo, I gotta put the pedal to the metal.
Yep, for real.
People are looking up to, like, when someone is depending on you to feed them, to clothe them.
That's crazy.
That is a different type of motivation. Like,
did I tell you? It's so funny you just brought that up. Did I tell you when I was babysitting our niece and nephews, and for that week, that was like,
you a little bit.
Yo, it was so dope, but it was like so freaking stressful.
Yeah, no,
I
would FaceTime him. And you, like, a father of 3 is insane.
I was like, this is crazy. Shout out to our older sister, Booge.
Our niece our sister has 3 kids. So you watched them for 1 week, 7 days?
7 whole days.
And where you had to, like, get them up, go to school.
Yes, that was crazy to me. And here's the...
Did you have...
Oh, my goodness.
When did you realize I had to wake up and watch them, like, get ready? Like, they can't just get ready.
It was more so with our youngest. You know what I'm saying? Like, he... You know, my nephew... I had to have his clothes out the night before, which I actually missed one night, and I felt that. I said, what the heck? I was like, wow, I really felt like I should have got your outfit out the night before. Like I was been doing. But anyways, whatever. So get his outfit out. I had to wake him up. You know what I mean? He slept with me like every night.
Yeah.
And it was cool. But then it was like at a certain point, you know, I gotta fall asleep a little early because I gotta wake up at like 6 or 7 to wake y'all up. He's already knocked out. I gotta wake him up, get his clothes, brush his teeth. You know what I'm saying? He's gotta. It's like you gotta do it. Then I gotta get the other 2, make sure they're on point to leave out the door to catch the bus. It was mad crazy. Now, you know, then when they leave, I go for my run, and then it was like when they leave, I'll take a nap. I'm sorry. Woke up, go for a run, do that for about an hour or 2. Girls come back. I gotta get you know what I'm saying? I gotta run back out and go get the youngest. Then I gotta start planning food for the night. then by 7 and 8,
what would you do if your son was at home?
Man, it was crazy, man. I felt like SpongeBob in the episode where Patrick was taking care of the clam, and Patrick wasn't doing nothing.
SpongeBob?
Yes, Patrick.
Kid's got a stinky.
Did you take care of him? My hands are kind of full.
Wish I could, but I gotta get going.
Going? Where are you going?
Going to work. I'm the dad, remember?
You mean I have to do all this baby stuff myself?
I'll give you a break tonight when I get home. Don't you two stop being adorable.
Okay.
SpongeBob's like, Patrick, I really need Yo, oh my goodness, it's so funny. But nah, it was crazy. And I said, this is birth control. Like, this is straight up birth control. Then they don't eat, they didn't want certain things. And
the kids are so picky now. Like, you can't just like, yo, I remember on Crooklyn when, like, she was like, you're not leaving until you eat these black eyed peas.
Yeah, I felt like that.
And, like, they're not eating it. Like, if anything, they're challenging you. They're gonna sit there as long as you are. They're gonna stare at you for as long as you're staring at them.
Yep.
And they're not gonna eat it. And
then they'll take like 2 bites of something, fool you, and so you look away for a while thinking they eating. They on that phone. You go back and check on them. Ain't nothing else been eating. You're like, yo, eat your food. You know what I'm saying? Oh my man, it's crazy.
And you know what? The social media don't make it no better. It's like, I don't know why we can't go to a park without your iPad or without your phone. Why do we need to take your phone and your iPad to the park?
Facts.
We were never doing stuff like that, ever.
Mm-hmm.
That's insanity.
Yeah, TikTok.
TikTok's raising your kids. You don't think so, but TikTok's raising your kids.
Social media is raising the kids. And it's crazy how we could be at Sky Zone, but yet you still want to check your phone. I just did Sky Zone for a church event. Not once did I check my phone. In fact, my phone wasn't even on me. I sat it down somewhere. And let me tell you, never once did I think about my phone.
Yeah.
And that's just crazy to me how, like, these kids, man, they going to do the Sky Zone and check the phone.
Yeah, they're going to do a TikTok.
But they're going to get on TikTok. They going to film what they doing.
Yes.
I'm, like, not even there. Like, I'm like, yo, I'm here. I enjoy this moment. This ain't for nobody else.
No.
This is crazy, though.
Let's get into the 20-somethings question.
Thanks.
Okay. It's so crazy because I'm like...
Yo, we never did expound on our story when we got arrested.
Yo, and the fact is, some people wanted us to.
Yeah.
But a part of me is like, did we give just enough? Or like...
I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like, at the end of the day, we're not trying to act like we was hard up and we went into jail.
No. Well, you know what? You would have thought we didn't grow up together the way you kept your composure. And I can't believe how like we were literally in jail, even to the point when we went to the actual jail and we actually had to change and stuff like that. I mean, Mo was asking for like a cup, you know, he was like wanting a blanket. Like, it was like, who are you? Like, did we get raised together? Like, did we have the same childhood?
I'm not gonna hold y'all. Now, this is very true what she's saying. When I seen that they gave you a blanket, and that was it for me. I was like, yo, they give you blankets, and it was this bread that man, it was just this good, like, cinnamon, sugary bread. I said, yo, I'm all right, man. I'm about to go doze off. Like,
why are you eating that food?
Like, I'm about to take a nap, man. That's one thing about me. I won't take a nap if I'm tired. I'm sleeping anywhere. But when I said this may not be that bad if they give you blankets, man. Like, I think we can make it. Like, I mean, they just gave, and then it was, you know what type of blanket it was? It was the knitted blankets, warm as a mother. Yo, I said, nah, we good to go. We good.
Like,
we good, man.
No, we not good.
Man, look, I'm about to go to sleep. Like, that's what it is. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I've always been that way, but like my adaptability skills is pretty good.
Yeah, I feel like
pretty good.
A lot of things don't. even if they do affect him, he will not act out an emotion.
Yes.
And like me, it's emotion first and logic later. So like when I tell you that, yes, we kind of made light of it on the last episode or the first episode, I was literally hyperventilating. Like, it was not a damn thing funny. I was literally like, this is real. This is not a funny situation. We're going down. Like, we're going down. And it's so crazy. First of all, we go in front of the judge, right? We go in front of the judge, and the judge is reading us our felonies.
Is the arraignment.
The arraignment. See,
Yeah.
I don't even know. Okay, so she's reading us our felonies, and they ask you, you know, do you want a lawyer? Do you want to represent yourself? And for some odd reason, he thought he was the man that could, and said that he was going to represent his own self. And you know what the judge said? You know, and maybe we did need her.
Facts. No, that was God all day.
The judge says,
definitely God.
Sir, you are facing felony charges. You are not going to represent yourself. Sit down. Have a seat.
Yeah, that joke is funny. Nah, but you know what it was? Because I always heard, you know, I just always like do, you know, rap and just like people that have been like, yo, public defenders don't give a about you.
Yeah.
And we got a taste of that.
We did.
Especially mine. Like,
yeah.
Man.
He did not have a good public defender. It was like, oh, black guilty. like, I'm going to try to fight for you, but you're guilty. You're a black man.
Yeah, exactly. She tried to get me to like, kind of like she ain't say like flip on your brother.
Yeah.
But like you can read between the lines, like, cause she's the one. She's like, oh, I don't know who had drugs in the car. Did you have drugs in the car? Did your brother have drugs in the car? You know, she's like, I just don't know. And it's just like, I'm like, well, yeah, I don't know either. Like, yeah, I see what you just trying to do there. Yeah, we'll figure this out.
As we go along.
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
it's
like,
so funny because they were like, Mo, when we made it out of that situation, Mo was like, yo, you know, I'm glad you kept it real. You didn't snitch. You know, you did. I didn't know that was an option. No one ever asked me whose paraphernalia in other substances that was. No one ever asked me.
Crazy. Yeah, literally the cop pulled me over and was like, he's like, hey man, he's like, you know, I'm just gonna be, is there anything in the car, man? He's like, just keep it real. I was like, I really don't know. It's not my car. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know. And so that was that. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like.
Let me tell you how God works, though. Although we got arrested with a family member who we love dearly, all I could think about and pray about is me and you making it out. I couldn't think further, like, at all. Like, it was just like, God, please, like, allow me and my brother to make it out. Allow me and my brother to make it out. Allow me and my brother to make it out. Like, that's all that was on the forefront of my mind. And literally, I mean, we didn't even get into general population and we were already bailed out. And unfortunately, and I don't know, for whatever reason, the person I didn't pray for, who I love dearly, ended up doing like 4 years, 5 years behind that situation.
Me and him already knew what it was because he was out on bail.
Yeah.
So it was like, and when we was in the holding, you know, when we got at the station and that cop had said something to him like, hey, you know, how do you think you're gonna make out? He's like, how do you think you're gonna make out? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, he's like, probably not going, you know what I'm saying? But like, I had already knew what time it was because I already knew what time it was. You know what I'm saying? So I just think, I didn't think he was going he was going to have to do that much. You know what I'm saying? But it was like, dang, you know, so.
Yeah, and I mean, again, I feel like the trials and the tribulations and the things that we go through are all lessons. I feel like, me personally, that situation just caused me, if anything, to be more mindful. So, I mean, and it caused a little PTSD, I'm not going to lie, but it overall caused me to be more mindful. Like, it's like, don't think that you're invincible and that, you know, things can happen. Things, like, do not, first of all, follow your discernment. Because I remember before we even went up there,
where we got arrested. I'm not going to say where, but before we even went up there, my parents were like, I don't really think you should be going up there. I don't see the purpose. Like, they were not like, they weren't.
They were
adamant.
Yeah.
They were adamant. But, you know, you're grown, you know, you're at the stage where you're grown, so your parents can't really tell you what to do. They can just kind of advise you. And I'm learning that now. But take the signs, take the heat. I listen, I've been humbled by life. I've been chin checked by life a lot. And yeah, I know exactly what this world can bring, and I'm much more mindful of that. And I honestly listen to my parents now. Like, I take heed to what people are saying to me. I don't kind of just think, oh, I know everything. I got it all. I got it together. I don't think that at all. I don't have it together. I'm 20-something years old. We don't have it together, even though we like to think, oh, no, I don't know what I'm doing just as much as the next person. And, you know, you experienced that. The episode that didn't come out, I was talking about just how, you know, I was experiencing a lot of doubt with doing this pod and just not knowing where, you know, where I was trying to go, or just what I was doing, just questioning myself. And it's just like, those thoughts and those feelings are not from God. I know the talents I have. I know what my potential is. So I never want to miss what's intended. I want to be in the will of God. So you can't listen to those voices, because those are not from God. And as you gain that spiritual consciousness, you will know, like, if it's confusion, it's not from God. If the interactions after don't make you feel good, that person's probably not, you know, from God. It's probably not that the right timing or whatever the case is. But yeah, man, it's like, you're ready for, you're just so adaptable. You're just ready for whatever.
Getting ready to camp in the Canadian Rockies. That's why. Nah, dude.
He wants to live off the grid so bad.
Oh my goodness.
So bad. Let's get into the 20-somethings questions.
Let's do it.
I should make a jingle. 20-somethings
questions. I'm sure we can get that in there. Yeah. That'd be dope. Oh, yeah, right. Like our original jingle. Man, that'd be fire. I'm like, you know, like how the Boetia kind of is like, you know what I mean? They gotta be OD, but yeah.
What do you think? No, this is not a 20-somethings questions, but what do you think was like the best Black 90s sitcom theme song?
Martin is great. Wayne's Brothers is great, especially the one with the remix. The Mary J. Blige remix. They just took the beat. Her and Biggie did a remix. I forgot what song it was. You remind me, I think. And then man, Fresh Prince, especially the extended version. I mean, yo, when you talk about Black theme songs for sitcoms, we definitely got the best.
Yeah.
And it's hard to figure that out.
No facts.
It's hard. To be honest, I had no idea. But
so the 20-somethings question is, this is a more fill in the blank, if you will.
Okay.
I never want to leave this earth without.
Or without not knowing what could have been if I just put a little more effort into pursuing my dreams. That would, I don't know how, I don't think it would devastate me in the sense that, like, it would devastate me if I get to live a very long life to where I can't do that. And I gotta regret that.
Yeah.
That's what I don't want. But, like, you know, and then, of course, I would love to live a long and fruitful life.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would kill me. Because I am saved. I made that decision to follow Christ and to make sure that, like, you know, I can inherit the riches of God's grace. You know what I mean? And be considered his child and be considered, you know, to come into heaven. You know what I mean? But what'd you say? A pillar. Oh, well, that's actually good. Yeah.
Is that good?
Again, it's not bad. Yeah, right. But I was like, I aside from that, like, no, that what I just said. Yeah. Yeah, man.
I never want to leave this earth without fully knowing my purpose. Because honestly, I don't think I don't know. And some people have asked me this, like, oh, what do you think your purpose is? And I've asked some people that, and I never really quite had the answer. Like, I never really knew. And I think as I'm, kind of navigating my 20s, I'm trying to find that out, like what truly is my purpose. Like, what does God want me to do in this life? How can I make it as fruitful and as impactful? So yeah, I never want to leave this earth without knowing like what my true purpose is.
I feel that.
Let's get into Corrupt's comments. I got a couple of things I want to comment on. The Vince Staples Show.
Oh, great.
First of all, 5 episodes. Where did we watch it on? HBO? Netflix. We watched the Vince Staples Show on Netflix, and the Vince Staples Show is exactly what Black people needed. And this is the same with Abbott Elementary. Just the newer Black sitcoms. Because I mean, we will always rerun Martin or rerun Fresh Prince or rerun Living Colors, but it's like, this is a new age Black show talking about some Black and this is exactly what we needed. And only negatives I really heard was that it was only 5 episodes, but I mean, that could have just been for multiple reasons that I don't know.
I think he was doing a trial.
And that's fair. And you definitely succeeded.
Yeah, that joint was fire. And when you were just describing it, the other show that I feel like Black people needed was Atlanta. Shout out to Donald Glover, man.
I like these creatives hitting different avenues.
Yeah, man, it's Atlanta. Vince Staples Show. Now that I think about it, it has its own flavor, but I definitely see a couple of parallels to Atlanta, which is fine, which is totally fine. Because the reason I love that is because that lets you know how in sync we are as a people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, you can't tell me we all ain't experience our cousins in one damn room and we all have the same similar Black experiences.
Nah, for real though. For real. It's very it's inspirational.
Yeah,
That's
it
the best way to put it, yeah.
And I always like when people just hit different avenues. Like, okay, you're a music artist. Who says you can't be a producer? Who says you can't be a director? Like, a dancer. Right. I mean, Omar in The Wire. I mean, he started off as a dancer. Like, I couldn't imagine Omar as a dancer. Like, these are just avenues that we're just hitting, man. This is just... So, yeah, go watch... If you haven't, go watch the Vince Staples Show on Netflix. It's good shit, man. Like, I think you will be thoroughly entertained. I was thoroughly entertained.
Yeah, that joint was fire. No, that joint was fire. Shout out to Vince, man. Yeah, that was just dope. I once again, just to piggyback, like, I love seeing us step out of typical roles, like, athlete and rapper. And it's like, if you got those gifts, hone in on those gifts. But it's like, we are more. Not to mention, we created all this stuff.
Yeah.
So, it's nothing. Yeah, let's not forget. Like, this is ours. Yeah. Like, entertainment would not be nothing without Black people. You know what I'm saying? Oof. Like, I'm sorry, hold on.
Shook some stuff
entertainment would not flourish without Black people. It wouldn't be nothing. It wouldn't be what it is. Hollywood, you know what I mean? Your Golden Globes, none of that music, none of it would flourish the way it does with Black people. None of it. So, and I'm ready to literally argue, and the only people I feel would say something towards that is anybody that is non-Black, and I do not care. Because for every white person or whatever, that's non-Black that you want to say something to that statement, I literally would have a whole army.
Yeah, you have evidence.
I would have evidence, and a whole army probably like ready to fight for me. You know what I mean? And we could use the controversial, we can use the attention for our podcast. So, 20-something.
Yeah, My lifelong dream would be for you to have a family.
Yo, that's crazy.
And you know what I also be hoping? I hope that whoever he chooses to marry and whoever he chooses to have, like a family with, that they understand our dynamic and they understand our relationship.
And that's hard, even if, like, you know what I'm saying, I prefer a black woman, but that would be hard either way, because this black women, I'm so, like, they just don't have the same relationship.
Yeah, with
their
their
siblings and their
siblings.
family. People don't get it, man.
Can I tell them that story?
Which story?
So,
I mean, go ahead. I just don't know.
it's the story.
Oh, man. I guess.
So basically he was dating a woman, right? He was dating a woman who had, a certain amount of kids, and he went to another state, I guess, to date this woman, I guess, to actively pursue this woman. And she wrote a book. And it was a great book. It was a great, very entertaining book.
That's what's up.
Yeah. And the book basically expressed a lot of her promiscuous side in her earlier years. And me and Mo, we have a relationship where we talk a lot of shit and we find it funny.
Facts.
It is funny. And we were texting, and we were talking, and I said something about his promiscuous woman that was not the nicest, but I was joking. I was making fun, and she seen the text.
Yeah.
And I feared for your life.
Unwarrantedly seen the text. Like, there was no reason. But hey, whatever.
Yeah. And I felt so bad. I was like, but I mean, if you knew our relationship, like, you would just be like, okay, they're just talking shit. Like,
and if you had a hard shell, like, you wouldn't be so in your feelings about certain things.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's my thing too. It's like, I was brought up different. Like, I was brought up where like I had gotten my little phases of being teased and not really bullied, but teased and laughed at. And like, yo, that stuff changes. You gotta like, it shapes you.
All right, man, we're gonna close out the pod. You know the statement. It's something about your 20-somethings that...
It's something about your 20-somethings that make you want to be respected and appreciated.
I say it's something about your 20-somethings that makes you just want to keep going. Tune in next Wednesday, guys. Thanks for watching.